Am I the asshole for giving my parents an ultimatum over childcare? So I have a 18-month-old child. When I went back to work, my parents and in-laws agreed to help out with childcare, and so a schedule was agreed with all involved parties that fit around their jobs, lifestyle. Now my mom keeps calling the night before due to have my 18-month-old, saying she's feeling unwell and doesn't feel up to having her. However, she seems completely fine according to sister, who still lives at home. She's done this for the last 5 weeks. I've managed to scrabble together alternative arrangements. Unfortunately, as it is my busy period at work, I am unable to take time off, as is my partner. I finally cracked this week and said to her, we can't keep having this every week. If you're not up to it, you need to tell me so I can make other permanent arrangements. 18-month-old is starting nursery once a week soon and can try and get them in on her other day. I'm now being yelled at, saying I'm being unfair to my mom. Am I the asshole for pointing out the truth and giving her an ultimatum, or should I have just let her carry on? Not the asshole. You're not insisting she have her, but encouraging her to be transparent so you can make other arrangement. It's inconvenient for her to back out at short notice when you have work. She's done this for over a month. You should make other arrangements. If she asks why, explain that she's been unreliable the last few weeks and you needed a more long-term solution. Tell her if she feels she can commit to childcare, then you're happy to go ahead, but otherwise you'll be moving forward with the alternative. There's nothing wrong with her not being willing to help. Your pregnancy wasn't contingent on her care, I'm assuming. She just needs to be upfront. She clearly doesn't want to spend her time watching your kid. Find a daycare. Just find alternate care. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. But your mother is telling you she's not able to care for your child. Make alternative arrangements. She probably feels like she will be completely excluded from the child's life if she says she can't care for her, but this regularly is obviously not something she can do. If she's cancelled every week for 5 weeks without a valid explanation, personally I just take her out of rotation. She's unreliable, and as she just demonstrated, will cause drama. You don't need that right now. Not the asshole. It is lovely that your parents offered to help, and it would be a massive help if they were reliable. The reality is, you do need reliability as you do have work commitments. Am I the asshole for asking why I was left off a family photo collage? My in-laws are celebrating their 30th anniversary. My wife and all her siblings decided to get a large framed photo collage for them as a present. The collage, of course, has their wedding pictures and pictures of my wife and her siblings as children. The collage also includes the most recent group photo of their whole family together at our wedding back in April. Additionally, the collage also has separate pictures of her 3 married brothers with their wives and children, and a picture of her recently engaged brother and his fiancée. However, there is no picture of me and my wife, nor do I appear in any of the group pictures, not even in the family pic from our wedding. I brought this to my wife's attention, and her immediate and annoyed-sounding response was, "It's not about you. It's about my parents and my family and the grandkids." I said, "I understand, and I'm not saying it's about me, but I'm wondering, if there's pictures of your married brothers with their wives, shouldn't there also be one of us?" Her response was, "It's not about my married brothers and their wives, it's to show off the grandkids." Okay. What about the pic of newly engaged brother and fiancé? There's no grandkids to show off there. At this point my wife gets upset. "You know, you're really annoying me right now. My siblings and I worked really hard to put this together, and now you have to make it about you and the fact that you're not on it. Grow up. You'll be in other pictures in the future." Now truthfully, I don't really care that much about not being in the collage, but I am feeling very hurt and frustrated by my wife's response. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Seems like an intentional decision. Multiple people put thought into the photo selections. Surely, your name came up during the selection process. Surely, photos you were in were available for selection, yet vetoed from the collage. Why? Your wife isn't telling you why. She knows the reason. I'm guessing either you kinda know the reason too, but she doesn't want to get into it or confirm your suspicions. Feels like your wife went from 0 to 60 really fast. And she obviously didn't like you pointing out all the flaws in her defense. This doesn't look good. There is obviously a reason you were left out. And make no mistake, you were left out on purpose. And your wife knows why. She needs to tell you. The cynic in me believes that you might not be a member of this family in time, and your wife is ensuring that there is no permanent reminder of you in something that will obviously be on display in prime location. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Maybe she's planning a divorce and doesn't want a reminder of you in the collage. Not the asshole, and I think the way you approached the topic was totally fine. I think your wife is being defensive because she knows she messed up and doesn't want to own it. Not the asshole. I'd be surprised too, especially when the recent whole family picture was at our wedding and I wasn't in it. My husband would absolutely be getting asked the same thing. Make sure you give her parents an 8 by 10 picture of just you for Xmas. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for wanting my sister-in-law to stop making my husband pay for their joint gifts to their mom? Update. First of all, thank you for everyone's advices and supports. I appreciate each and every comments, including negative ones that give me different perspective. I had a conversation with my husband using many of the suggestions from your comments below. He didn't take it well at first and still doesn't seem to fully understand the points I was trying to make. However, he said he couldn't stand seeing me so upset, worrying it would affect my health and the baby. So he gave in, said sorry to me, and told his sister, in a group text that included me, to return a pair of pants and pay half of the $300 total cost after the refunds. She replied with a thumbs up and didn't say anything else. He also promised that this will be the last time we buy a joint gift with her unless I'm involved in the discussion, and agreed to it. I guess I'll see if he keeps his word when New Year and Mother's Day roll around. I also told him I'd start moving 1/4 of my income into my personal account as savings for our family. He said he has no problem with that and will continue putting 100% of his income into the joint account for family expenses. If we fall short, we'll figure it out together. He said he hopes all of this makes me feel better and shows me that he truly cares about me and loves me, and that we, our baby and I, are his priority. I don't know how to explain my feeling at this point. I got everything I asked for, but I feel like somehow we didn't really resolve the problem, because he still doesn't understand me and the reasons why I'm upset. He just agrees to do whatever to please me and make peace. Maybe I'm just overthinking and still too emotional and mentally drained. Again, thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts and recommendations. My husband and his sister have a tradition of buying their mom gifts together, but it always means she will pick the gifts and my husband paying for them. She never contributes a dime, but the gifts are still presented as being from both of them. This tradition continues even after we're married. Now she will pick the gifts, my husband pays for them, and the gifts are presented as being from them, me and her boyfriend. I've told my husband I want to be involved in gift decisions if we are paying for it, especially we are on a tight budget. After paying for our wedding on our own, his mom and his sister, by the way, gave us nothing on our wedding, and expecting a baby. I also suggested his sister start contributing if the gifts are joint, or she buys her own gift and we buy our own. He agreed with me, and suggested that we buy our own gift this Christmas. I've been shopping for his mom's gift for weeks, until I found out this evening that his sister just texted my husband yesterday telling him she wants to buy their mom expensive Lululemon clothes for Christmas, and he agreed to it without talking to me. I'm frustrated because this feels unfair, especially since she's 30, makes good money as a nurse, and spends on luxury for herself but not on gifts for her own mother and brother. She doesn't buy anything for our arriving baby either. I asked my husband why we are always having to be the one who pay, yet I don't even have a say-so on what to buy. And why we are always the ones who buy gifts for them but they never buy us anything. He acknowledged being taken advantage of, but said I'm overreacting and petty for being upset about this. That they are his mom and his sister, and her being his baby sister, she has always been spoiled and he doesn't care. So am I the asshole to be upset over this situation? Not the asshole, you guys discussed what to do and he disregarded the entire conversation behind your back. It's irresponsible if you are on a tight budget, with a child on the way, to be buying expensive gifts anyway, regardless of the circumstances with his sister. Why not just Venmo request her or just ask for half? Stop being so FC King scared of a conversation. His sister won't stop because your husband is legit enabling her. Your husband has to be the one to stop this behavior. You need to actually talk to your husband and tell him to stop doing this. Tell him that if he does it, it should come out of his own money and not your joint money, your household's finances. Not the asshole, but since this is a habit, you have to know it won't be easy to break for your husband, and so you have to be a bit patient and understanding with him. Know it'll be tough for him to have this difficult convo with his sister and for him to change behavior. Good luck though, and congrats for the baby on the way. Yeah, I would have shut that shish plus tea down during engagement, if not before tongue out. Shut it down, now. She makes a decent living, it's time for her to pay her own way. Your husband needs a backbone. It's completely your husband's fault. She is not and cannot force him to pay for anything. He's choosing her wants over your family's needs. You are the asshole for not holding him completely accountable for his actions. Sounds like you have a husband problem. He's a grown adult and letting his sister interfere with your marriage decisions. You and your husband came up with a plan together, he should have told her. Now he lost his chance to tell her, so you should text her. Husband told me that you brought up gift ideas for Mill. No worries on our end, we already picked something out for her. Am I the asshole for telling my mom's boyfriend his kids will never be family? Roughly more than a year ago my mother introduced me to her boyfriend. Since then me and my 3 siblings have been introduced to his 3 kids and our families have been merged. Though we still live in separate homes, his family is over our house all the time, But it's very obvious he is purposely leaving me and my other older sibling out of the family plans. Last year during Thanksgiving, I was informed 3 days before that all of his kids, including his adult child, and my 2 younger siblings along with my mother were going to meet our grandparents 6 states over. Me and my older sibling were whiplashed as we didn't have enough time to pull together funds or time off to join them. We brought this up to our mom and she simply said she guesses we can join them next time and she thought we knew. That left me and my sibling alone for a week during Thanksgiving, in which we each just ended up going to a family member's house who we don't see often. We were both very hurt by this incident, and brought to each other's attention how many family trips they have had. Whether it's a weekend thing or not, without inviting us or telling us until the day of. We've kept our mouths shut until now, but since Christmas is coming around, we were getting nervous they were going to do the same thing. Thankfully they didn't, but we were told to be sure to get his kids gifts as they are now our siblings. Having to get gifts for 3 people who we aren't even close to really sucked, but my sibling and I begrudgingly did so. I don't remember how it got brought up today, but I found out his kids weren't getting any of my siblings' gifts, not even the adult despite them all having jobs. This really pissed me off and I ended up lashing out on both of them, specifically my mother's boyfriend. I told him that I don't care about him or his kids, but if he wants to play family he's not playing the father act well at all. He retorted with he doesn't need to share his life with adult kids and to him we're just our mom's past. I'll admit I got nasty after this, telling him his kids are baggage enough and my mother doesn't need any more kids, and I'll never look at his spoiled rotten brats as family. This seemed to really hurt my mom and she started crying. Her boyfriend screamed at me to leave so I did. I'm staying at a friend's right now but I'm wondering if I went too far. I don't give a fuck if I was the asshole to the boyfriend, I already know that part. But was I an asshole to my mom in this way too? I just don't want her to forget that she has 2 kids who still see her as their mother and she can't just forget they exist because her boyfriend won't acknowledge us. Edit. I am 20 and the older sibling is 17. I only said older because they are older than my 2 younger siblings who are under the ages of 10. I pay half the rent and half the household expenses in the house with my mother and without me we wouldn't be housed. I think everyone knows how expensive it is to live on your own right now, let alone with 3 kids excluding myself. I will be going back home and understand he can't kick me out of a place my name's on the lease on, but I am trying to cool myself down. Did this update to clear some things up for people. Update. I came home pretty early this morning to have a talk with her mom when her boyfriend left. I took a lot of your advice and told her how leaving me and my sibling out is not blending the family in any manner, and how I feel like my own home is being invaded despite my contributing significantly. According to my mom, her boyfriend didn't end up spending the night due to them having their own fight. My mother made it very clear that she was pretty ignorant to everything we felt, whether it was on purpose or not, but she started crying last night not only from what I said, but everything her boyfriend had said as well. A big part of their talk after I left was discussing me and my sibling. She didn't tell me everything they said, but they will be taking time away from each other for a little while as my mom agreed that at some point he can't just leave me and my siblings out. But she also feels I was rejecting him and his kids early on along with my siblings, and it's why she didn't invite us to a lot of things because she didn't want to put us in uncomfortable situations. This led to me bringing up the fact that I pay half the rent and I would prefer from now on they go over his house in the future, and how I need to see respect from him and his kids and not treat me like a ghost in a house I contribute towards. She understood and said that she herself won't be seeing him for a while. This then ended with her sobbing again that at some point I will be getting married and the kids need a father. Our dad died roughly 6 years ago due to terminal illness. At this point my parents were already separated, but since then my mom has really only had flings, nothing serious. And the older I get the more she fears I'll leave her in the dust and she will have no one to help her with my siblings or the future. I know a lot of people said this, but I thought maybe you guys were just assuming, but I guess she was feeling like she needed to secure herself. Similarly, his kid's mom has been dead a little less than 4 years for a similar reason, though I don't know all the details. My mother said multiple times that she can't expect me to live with her forever and take care of her at the drop of the dime, and how she has been wanting a full-time companion for a long time for stability but also for companionship. By this point she had to leave for work and we decided to put a pin in the conversation. I don't think I'll be updating much further than this. I thank everyone for the advice and the consideration they gave to my post. I still feel like an asshole, but I do feel a little less shitty setting the boundaries I did, considering over half of you said I should have done it sooner. Thank you, I appreciate it. Not the asshole. The boyfriend seems to be looking at you as more of childcare and extra food for his kids than someone with whom he wants to have an actual, relatively equal, relationship. People who exclude you are fools to think that you will include them. I wouldn't give gifts to his children. A sad observation that I have long made about my family is that the presents that I brought mattered a lot more to them than my presents, so I stopped going years ago. If the toll to attend is bringing his children gifts, you can do without that gathering. It sounds like boyfriend did a hostile takeover of your family rather than a merger. It's sad that your mother chose her boyfriend over you. Get out when you can. I get that you feel excluded and left behind, and that really sucks. I also get that the expectation that you have to get his kids presents but his kids will not be giving gifts to your mom's other children is a really shitty deal. I'm going with not the asshole, honestly. He called you your mother's past, as if you were second-class citizens in his eyes, and so you told him his kids were the same in your opinion. Your mother is probably feeling torn between appeasing her new boyfriend and standing up for her older kids. She's allowing this guy to scream at you and put you out of her house, so she's not doing the parental protection you deserve. I hope he's not abusive to your mom, or that she's not desperate for love, affection, that she will turn a blind eye to how much of a prick her boyfriend is. Your mother is not a victim here. Doesn't matter how hard she cries about it. Her boyfriend called you, her past, yelled at you, and kind of kicked you out, and she just let it happen. Over a guy she's been dating for less than 2 years. She can pretend to not notice him excluding her older kids. But the above mentioned is too much. Not the asshole. Boyfriend is showing blatant favoritism, and mom is enabling it. Neither parent is making any effort to ensure that you and your siblings feel included in any capacity, using your age as an excuse. Not an asshole for pushing back against favoritism and mom's boyfriend trying to push you and your siblings out of your own family, and your mom isn't standing up for you like she should. Stop paying your mom's rent. She's an asshole and how dare she cry. Her boyfriend kicked you out of your own house that she leeches off you. I'd drop her stuff off at his house. Not the asshole. Wait, did he kick you out of your own house? And if so, did your mother actually sit there and let him do it? Because if so, your mother sounds like the one causing the issues in your home, not just the useless boyfriend.